Hey guys, ShadowStar1224 here. As you can tell, I got a new microphone. So I'm going to break it in with a commentary. The video I'm commentating on is a commentary of a review. This is going to be different though, because I'm going to be commentating on all three groups: the reviewer, the commentator, and the commentator of the commentator. Don't worry, it'll make sense when it starts. Pointless 34-second intro to the intro. Watch, they're going to explain most of it during the next 30 seconds. Besides, the subscribers to Roushutsu, who has this on her account, know which character is Roushutsu and which one would be SuperSonic, and people that aren't subscribed would get the hang of it. Plus, Lay Off the Critic was in the title of the video.
Welcome to another commentary. Yours truly. Today we have a special commentary, and as such, I have a special guest.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan, also known as SuperSonic407. This commentary is gonna be special because we're going to commentate on a commentary.
I've seen it done before, and I'm pretty sure that my third-degree commentary has been done before too.
Which was made by Chief Shadow1750. And he did this commentary on a guy by the name of Alexander4488, also known as the Game Dude, which he did a Sonic 06 review.
Now, this is Chief Shadow's first commentary, and I'll admit, he began with a decent start. But as he goes on, he just loses it. Horribly.
This is my second commentary, by the way. Not that it matters. However, Roushutsu and SuperSonic407 have done multiple commentaries before.
And we're going to address each of these problems.
Unfortunately, they didn't address every single problem. I'm gonna pick up what they missed.
So, let's begin the madness, shall we?
Hello again, I'm Chief Shadow the Hedgehog, and you're not.
Was that supposed to be funny? Because I didn't find anything funny in that opening line.
It's like gaming in the Clinton years and the old "why did the chicken cross the road" joke. It's so unfunny that it is funny.
Anyway, as you know, I like the Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm a fan of him. I watch his videos and I think they're good. And I also watch the Nostalgia Critic. But there's this internet user here on YouTube that just plains out copies the Angry Video Game Nerd. And that person is Alexander4488, also known as the Game Dude. Now, where to begin with this guy? Yeah, I already said that he copies the Angry Video Game Nerd. He shows no originality whatsoever. This is something I can see from the irate gamer. He tries to be original, while Game Dude does not.
Chief Shadow had a link to Game Dude's video in his description box, and if you actually go to Game Dude's video, you will notice in his description box, inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd, these videos are satirical, comedic, nitpick rants that should not be taken seriously. Keep this in mind throughout the entire commentary.
Also, keep in mind that some people seriously think like this when it comes to Sonic. Besides, most reviews of Sonic 06 I've seen nitpick as well. So what's your point? Just because he admits it makes it okay?
In his earlier episodes, he was called the Annoyed Gaming Geek, and this is something I remembered from quite some time now. But he officially changed his name to Game Dude, and I don't think he's worthy of the name Game Dude.
I know I've made minute-long intros for my commentaries, but I at least try to stay on point.
Hi, I'm Roushutsu. Hi, I'm SuperSonic407. Today we're doing a commentary of a commentary. Let's begin, shall we? Isn't that a lot better than a 34-second opening of two characters' eyes opening in darkness?
What does the Game Dude's backstory have to do with the rest of the video? Absolutely nothing.
It gives a background for the character.
Now, if you ask me, I thought Spax3 was the worst reviewer here on the internet, but Game Dude just takes the cake. Why?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I swore I heard whispering when he said why.
Well, I'm gonna take a look into his Sonic 06 review. That's right, I'm doing a commentary. And do be aware that this is not gonna be perfect, like Realm Wars' butthurt commentary, so...
Mentioning Realm Wars wasn't necessary, and it just confuses the viewer if they don't know who Realm Wars is.
If I do make a mistake or something, I will allow constructive criticism. So, yeah, here we go.
And that's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen.
You want criticism? Well, you'll get plenty.
This is going to be fun.
Sonic.
You know what I think of when I see a typo in the first 2 seconds of the video? I think about a person that didn't watch their video before they put it on YouTube.
Sonic the Hedgehog is brilliant, and so is Sonic the Hedgehog, but Sonic the Hedgehog is the absolute worst Sonic game ever.
Right now is a good time to mention that I'm going to start doing tallies. Whenever the Game Dude mentions, "Oh, it's not Sonic, why Sega, why?" Just like every single other Sonic 06 review that I've seen, I'm going to mark it.
Wow, you could not be more wrong there, Game Dude. Okay, I know what you're all thinking. I am bashing on his opinion. It's not that at all. I respect other people's opinions, but here's my problem with this. He's trying to state his opinion as if it was a fact, and that's something I can't accept.
Stating it like a fact is a good idea in formal essays for school because it makes your argument sound stronger, but with something as trivial as this, I don't think so, because people like Chief Shadow will just get angry at you.
He's trying to state that Sonic 06 is the worst Sonic game of all time, which is simply not true, because if you look, the game Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis for the Game Boy Advance, there's your worst Sonic game ever made. And not only that, but the game Sonic Labyrinth also sucked. I've heard reviews of both Sonic Genesis and Sonic Labyrinth, and there was not one thing positive I could find from those reviews.
From the way I see it, even if the guy states it as a fact, it is still an opinion.
Hey SuperSonic407, you wanna know why I'm better than you? Because the character you use to represent yourself doesn't even match your username. Now how did that make you feel? See how stating your opinion like a fact makes someone sound like a snob?
And when you say that Sonic 06 isn't the worst Sonic game, but Sonic Game Boy Advance and Sonic Labyrinth is...
because there are 2 games. I won't mention small grammar issues because I will probably make a few, but when you mess up something as simple as the verb to be, then I just feel the urge to correct you on it.
It kind of defeats the purpose of your argument. You say, don't state your opinion as a fact, but your response sounds like you're doing the exact same thing. You don't even acknowledge that it's your opinion. Thus, people will think that you're defending Sonic 06 rather than seeing the flaws in the Game Dude's review.
I'm missing the connection there. However, for Chief Shadow, defending Sonic 06 and pointing out the flaw in the Game Dude's review will go hand in hand.
Also, you're judging these games by what the reviews state. Are you implying that you haven't played the games yourself? If you're going to make a claim like that, the least you can do is play the games yourself and respond with your own judgment, not the judgment of others.
I'll get deeper into this topic later because a surprise is revealed. Spoilers, Chief Shadow1224's has not played Sonic 06.
This ignominy of the universe needs to be buried in the darkest region on Pluto.
Just like this review.
Also, I'm going to tally every time Chief Shadow installs the Game Dude.
I think it's obvious that you find this review to be pretty pointless. So what's the point of you even saying something like that?
Now, as retarded as 3 different Sonic games, all with the exact same name is, must this pile of hedgehog shit be one of them?
That doesn't count for the tally. You'll see what does when it comes up.
Okay, this is a completely new game. This has a different storyline. It is not a remake. Yeah, I can't think of really anything else to say.
Remake? Of what?
I guess they were running out of ideas where they were trying to think of subtitle names. You could dub it Sonic 06, Sonic Next Gen, whatever. It's just that you can call it, subtitle it, whatever you want.
Like, what if a shitty Mario game, another shitty Mario game is made, and named Super Mario Brothers? It's a shameful disgrace!
Okay, ShadowStar1224's has stated this in his Shadow the Hedgehog defense rant, and now I'm going to say it. One game will not kill an entire franchise. Mario does have his fair share of bad games, alright? That's something the Mario fans need to understand.
I agree with you on the whole one game will not kill the franchise thing.
The other guy said it. What was his name? ShadowStar11?
But your Mario comment was not needed. Wanna know why? Let's listen to what the game dude said again.
Like, what if a shitty Mario game, another shitty Mario game is made and named Super Mario Brothers? It's a shameful disgrace.
If you listen closely, he said another shitty Mario game, implying that he recognizes that, yes, a bad Mario game exists out there. In fact, not one, but 3.
I can think of a few more.
And this will not be the first time that you imply that he is a Mario fanboy.
Comparing Mario to Sonic is typical.
Pay attention to what he's saying before you make a response. This way, you avoid making such a silly mistake.
Now, back in the days, Sonic and Tails were the fucking shit. They were Sega stars and the only ones that rocked.
Are you counting out Knuckles and Dr. Robotnik? Or Eggman, as whoever you like to call him? They appeared in the earliest Sonic games.
Perhaps he neglected to mention them because maybe he felt that they didn't suffer as much as Sonic and Tails did in Sonic 06. It's not a matter of forgetting about them, it's a matter of opinion, which despite what you said earlier, you're kind of showing that you're not respecting it.
He didn't forget about them, and he didn't think that they did not suffer as much in Sonic 06, because he clearly said, and they were the only ones that rocked.
Everyone else?
Now, how does all the Sonic characters suck? Really? Get into detail. Why do the characters suck?
Now Sonic's all stretched out like Gumby, and Tails' tails are too big, and they're barely attached to his body. What happened to these?
Oh, god damn it, we got ourselves another knothole resident.
Isn't that Realmors' gag?
Yes. Yes, it is.
How is a buzzer sound and a face palm at the same time copyrighted?
Yes. This is something many people have forgotten. Game Dude was originally the one who started the whole complaints about the looks thing. Alright? He complains about the character's new looks. And besides, the character's looks have appeared in Sonic Adventure. And you're blaming it on Sonic 06?
Now, listen to them.
Okay, with your help, this should be a piece of cake.
I'll do my best.
They're more annoying than Slippy Toad.
Thanks, Bot. I thought they had me.
Okay, there's no way Sonic and Tails can be more annoying than Slippy Toad. True, I may have not played the Star Fox games, but I've heard a lot about Slippy Toad and his voice being annoying. Looks like we got ourselves another Spax 3.
How do you know if it's really that bad if you haven't played Star Fox 64?
You don't have to play Star Fox 64 to hear Slippy talk. It's called YouTube. Heck, he even just played a sound clip.
Thanks, Bot. I thought they had me. Thanks, Bot. I thought they had me. Thanks, Bot. I thought they had me.
Just because other people may find Slippy's voice annoying, doesn't automatically mean you will too.
Thanks, Bot. I thought they had me.
I'll stop that now, but my point still stands. He just heard Slippy talk. He sounds like a girl.
Just like how a lot of people hate Sonic 06, you are defending it.
Their lips synchronized with their original Japanese voice, but should have been edited to match the horribly dubbed English. Sometimes, their lips barely move.
I may not know what Eggman's up to, but it can't be a good thing.
Did I forget to mention that this game was rushed because Sega was under pressure at the time of this game's release?
Sonic Team made the game, Sega published it. Every time one of the 4 other people mentions Sega, you can replace it with Sonic Team, and it would make more sense. In fact, I'll start tallying right now.
Tails used to be so cool. As cute and adorable that he was bad-ass.
Okay, how can Tails be badass? He's an 8-year-old fox. True, he may be a mechanical genius, and true, he may ride a biplane that could transform into a fighting robot, but that's just about it. How can he be badass? If I could think of a badass Sonic character, I think Shadow the Hedgehog right off the bat.
Everything you just stated is what many people think makes Tails so cool. Even badass. What is not badass about being super smart and having a biplane fighting robot?
That registers as badass to me.
You know why I think Tails isn't so badass? It's because he follows Sonic all the time. There's only a few parts in the series where he's on his own and does things by himself. Then it's back to following Sonic.
Again, badass is a matter of opinion. After all, you may find Shadow to be badass, but there's a ton of people out there who don't.
And that was his charm, but he's not a super powerful fox anymore.
Again, how is Tails super powerful? Get into depth.
Now he makes a wimpy moaning noise.
Yeah, because he never got tired in Sonic Adventure when he was flying around.
Drops like a pancake into the water without a splash, screams like a little girl, and drowns.
Okay, first of all, it gains the challenge. It adds to the challenge of the gameplay. Tails' flight is limited. Also, dropping like a pancake? That's common in video games. Drops into the water without a splash? Again, the game was rushed. And screams like a little girl? That's because he is voiced by a girl. Amy Pallant. Yeah, I thought you knew that.
Because like Sonic, he doesn't know how to swim.
Okay, that Photoshop picture is just plain out terrible. I can kick your ass in Photoshop pictures any day.
How do you know if he did that in Photoshop? For all you know, it could have been done in Paint, Paint.net, or some other kind of image editing program.
Plus, taking body parts, recoloring them, and putting them together in a new pose just to make your character doesn't exactly show prowess in Photoshop. Sure, it may look really cool, but this picture is on the same level as his. So why are you acting like you're superior?
Effort in picture making isn't as important as the final product, and I think Chief Shadows is better than Game Dudes.
He can only attack by throwing dummy ring bombs. It's so stupid.
Okay, now ShadowStar1224's described this in his Shadow the Hedgehog defense rant, but I'm gonna say, how come that nobody complained about the use of the dummy ring bombs in Sonic Heroes, used by both Tails and Rouge, when they complain about it here in this game? It doesn't make any sense. Don't go blaming this game just because it uses the same thing. And besides, dummy ring bombs in this game, ring bombs in Sonic Heroes, I mean, those things were fucking useless.
I can understand where the Game Dude is coming from on the dummy ring bombs. In Sonic 06, you were forced to use them.
Or you could just walk around or fly over enemies.
And I too thought they were annoying. And yeah, the dummy ring bombs were used in Sonic Heroes, but the only time you used them was when you lost track of your teammates, which rarely was a problem unless you played really poorly. Honestly, I think that's why no one complained about them in Sonic Heroes. You rarely used them, if at all.
They're infinitely crammed up his ass, and look, he can't even pick them back up. Couldn't he at least pick them back up, but not have his ring count increase?
But then you couldn't push them into enemies. You would have to keep pulling rings out.
They're dummy ring bombs.
At least that would make a little more sense. Also, throwing them is awkward because you keep accidentally switching to first-person mode.
Don't quote me on this, but I remember that dummy ring snipe always put you in first-person mode. If you don't like it, you can just fly over the enemy and then drop rings on him.
That's to help your aiming. I thought you knew this.
I'm pretty sure he's aware of the first-person view. He's just stating his opinion. He doesn't like it.
Bottom line, Tails should kick ass by using himself. There should be no dummy ring bombs.
Please go back to the explanation about the dummy ring bombs because I am not repeating myself.
Why does Shadow drive vehicles when he should be able to run faster and has chaos power?
Okay, I can answer your question right there. Shadow has vehicles because they wanted to add to the gameplay value to Shadow's gameplay. This was used in Shadow the Hedgehog, and it was also tried to prove that Shadow is a completely different character than Sonic. Alright? Back in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was a speedy character. And some people may have called him a Sonic clone because he runs just as fast as Sonic. So adding the vehicles makes his gameplay a little bit more different.
It makes as much sense as Kirby sucking up enemies the giant...
Well done, Game Dude. You just asked about logic in video games. While we're at it, let's ask why Sonic can run forever without getting tired.
Vacuum!
Well, they were sitting around making this shit up.
Jumping into the vehicle... because sometimes the buttons won't respond.
Okay, seriously, how are you gonna hop into the vehicle when you're like a few yards away from the vehicle?
Look, bullets are flying up my ass.
If I imagine bullets flying up your ass, I would see rapid fire. But the fact that I don't see any bullets being fired just proves you're wrong.
Game Dude is being sarcastic. It couldn't be any more
Then why does he care about hopping into the car so quickly?
obvious. Why are you taking everything he's saying so literally when you're not supposed to?
And he just won't jump in. Skunk fucker.
This guy is unfucking believable.
Come on, jump in, damn it.
See? You just had to be on the seat.
Finally! The controls are stiff and slippery,
That's a contradiction, isn't it?
and you can never slow down fast enough. Damn it!
Okay, are you trying to hit the brakes?
This horrible truck needs to get out of here quickly.
If you can run the truck off the cliff, what's the point of complaining about it? It's completely optional.
This is the one of the many things that he rips off the angry video game nerd.
Are you kidding me? No!
Wow, what an epic fail right there.
I don't think Sonic Team wanted you to go that route, Game Dude. Sequence breaking is bad.
It's almost more of an epic fail than IGN making Sonic jump over a jump dash panel in the Sonic Unleashed game.
This guy is unfucking believable.
I don't know if we're seeing the same thing or not, but falling through the floor is a common glitch in the game, and it happens when you least expect it. So how exactly is this fail on the Game Dude's part? He has no control over the glitches. No one does. If there's anyone to blame for that, it's Sega. Those glitches pissed us off.
And didn't you use that river clip already? Like, not even a minute ago?
Silver looks like a mutated owl and sounds like Chuck E. Cheese with a clothespin on his nose.
Look, just because he looks different than the other hedgehogs does not mean that he's bad. Our cool character. I mean, a hedgehog that comes from the future that has telekinesis, that's a pretty interesting idea.
Time for you to disappear!
You should disappear, but if you're not careful, he'll toss you around against the sides of an invisible box.
Okay, if you were able to run around the city against Silver, and if the battle arena is where you're at right now, then that basically proves that you are pretty much a coward if you try to run away from the battlefield.
And there goes another Realm Wars facepalm.
Once they climb into a wall, they're like permanently stuck.
Try holding the button!
Or only press it once. Even in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 1, pressing the jump button repeatedly against a wall will keep you stuck to it.
Again with insulting him over game glitches. It's not his fault that he can't get off the wall, 'cause other people had the same problem. There are videos on YouTube that show the glitches in this game. Even Darkness the Curse noted some of these glitches when he remade his review of Sonic 06 before he closed his account, and that glitch with Rouge was one of them. You can actually still find his review under the Darkness archives.
His review wasn't that structured anyway. Why talk about the story and the music and other things when you can just complain about glitches and how it's not like other Sonic games?
In fact, let's let him explain this whole glitch issue, shall we?
If we do, it might be wise to lower the volume on our sound systems right now.
It seems that they set it up to where whenever pieces to a building or a wall come together, there's a hole. And they were too lazy to program to be solid, so you can actually climb up into the hole and walk over the door or wall and go into the room. And this also gives me time to point out the fatal flaw with both Rouge and Knuckles. They get stuck to the wall! I hate this glitch so much. It's actually a killer glitch on this particular level involving Rouge, where if you fly on this particular wall that I'm on, you can't get off! Because I tried for like 30 minutes off the wall and I couldn't do it. The only way I could figure out how to fucking do it was either A, kill myself, or B, phase through the wall. So you have to exploit a glitch to get past the glitch.
So what was the main thing we learned from that? That Darkness the Curse needs Prozac.
And I know Sega rushed the game, and while it may explain it, I'm sorry, it doesn't excuse it.
I completely agree. With a few exceptions of some video games, you can never excuse crap. But hey, maybe they'll remake the game and get all the crap out so that it's so beautiful that you cry.
It's the game's fault.
Didn't you say that if there was anyone to blame, it was Sega, when you really meant Sonic Team? Man, this is getting confusing. That's like getting angry at a gun, and not the person that tried to fire it at you.
And you should be aware of these glitches he's coming across. I mean, you are defending the game, so you should know this inside and out. So, if I may be so bold as to suggest, go play the game again.
Why'd you say again when you've watched the commentary already and know he hasn't played Sonic 06? I know it's to not spoil it for people that have already seen the video, but at the end, people are just going to think you're stupid for doing that. Why? Because it sounds like you're commentating as you go along instead of watching the whole thing and then commentating on it after.
And do some research before you decide to insult him.
Then he would have the right to insult the game, dude?
The way I'm seeing it, you're insulting him for the sake of insulting him.
Get off the wall, you slutty fat bitch! Oh, and they can magically swim in the air.
Gliding only slows down your fall. Just look, you're still falling.
Look at Knuckles. He makes Goofy look professional.
Okay, that's you that was trying to do that, and that just shows that you are not funny at all.
Now, remember when Sonic didn't suck, and how every single square inch was enriched with majestic dreamlike atmospheres beyond imagination? That was a long time ago.
Why does everybody get so hard about this game?
Call me immature, but I can't help but chuckle at the words he used.
And saying that this is the death of Sonic. There has been good Sonic games after Sonic 06 came out. Same with Shadow the Hedgehog. There was good Sonic games after that game came out. Sonic Unleashed is a really great game. I only played the PS2. It was a blast to play, especially the daytime stages.
Now, think for a moment. What should Sonic be like? This or this? Do you feel like you're looking at a Sonic game?
This is still part of the previous flashback.
Actually, yes I do.
Okay, right here is where part 1 ended. Danny and I thought this commentary was off to a decent start. Yes, he had flaws, and most of them were forgivable, since this is his first commentary. But they were nothing compared to the rest of the commentary. You'll see why when we get to them.
You guys gotta stop making your characters move like that. It isn't funny. Really? I couldn't tell by the fact that you said there's more to come, and by the fact that the progress bar at the bottom of the video was almost fully to the right.
And now we begin part 2 of Chief Shadow's commentary with part 3 of ours.
Yeah, I couldn't tell from the last part and the title of this video. I know it's a small thing, but it makes people think that you think that they don't know how to read.
No, you don't. Absolutely nothing about this catastrophic abomination resembles the classic.
Due to the fact that this rant about the classics has been going on for a while, I'm going to count it again. Now, why is tallying the flashback so important? I'll let Chief Shadow explain.
Just because a game does not resemble the classics does not mean that the game sucks.
The answer I am given the most when I ask why Sonic 06 sucks to people is not because of the glitches in it, not the fact that it's a combination of Sonic Adventure 2, Super Mario Bros., and the Terminator storyline, but because it's nothing compared to the classics. Just watch Darkness the Curse's review of Sonic 06. Here's a clip. And for more fun, put your speakers on maximum boom.
This game is such a disappointment. What happened to Sonic? What the fuck did Sega do? What did they do? They completely ruined everything. They decided to change everything and make it all realistic. I mean, Sonic used to be awesome. Sonic used to be one of the coolest characters of all time. Among video games, he was a god. But now he's a fucking joke. What did they do? They have ruined my favorite character of all time. You motherfuckers. How the hell did they manage this shit? What was the matter with them? What the fuck were they on? I mean, look at this. This is what Sonic used to be.
wasn't done. It's a waste of fucking time. You ruined everything. I don't want Sonic to die. But in this game, I like to call him Clone Sonic, because this isn't Sonic. This is not Sonic in this game. It's a fucking clone. It's a waste of fucking time. I'm warning you now. Don't fucking play this game.
Now, based on how angry he was when he was reviewing, what score do you think he gave it? A 0? 1%? 2%? 5%? A 1 out of 10? No. He gave it a 7 out of 20. Which is still a bad score, mind you, 35%. But it shows that the only difference between why it's a bad game and why he thinks it's so terrible is because it's Sonic the Hedgehog. If you have watched the actual review, I know what you're thinking. Those 7 points are from sound and graphics, and nothing else. I agree that this is a problem, because he gives sound, graphics, gameplay, and entertainment all the same weight in a review. He even goes as far to state the graphics score before the gameplay score. What's my point? My point is that nostalgia is an outside factor of the actual game. That's like hating a video game just because people keep walking in front of your TV screen. Now that that's cleared up, we return you to the commentary.
Alright. Exploring around Soliana is just like exploring around Station Square from Sonic Adventure.
And Link would be less out of place in Carolot. Sonic doesn't belong here.
Unbelievable.
Oh, God damn it! That's it! We're starting some tallies!
Okay, so that's 3 Realm Wars face palms.
And 2 Ripper clips.
Guys, starting the tally from the beginning of the video might have been the best idea.
Sonic doesn't belong here? Are you trying to say that Sonic doesn't belong in Soliana? Which is just an area to explore?
And that's exactly why he isn't here, because this is Sonic, not this!
If you think about it, it's 1 buzzer and 3 face palms. So 2 of them were normal face palms, and only 1 of them was, as you say, a rip-off of Realm Wars.
Ah, God. Another fucking fanboy. Oh, God.
Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself! What? Oh, okay, right. Like, I was the only one thinking that. Was that supposed to be funny? Because I didn't find anything funny in that.
Sorry, I had to put that in there. It felt fitting.
Alright, just because Sonic is taller, has green eyes, and more quills, doesn't mean that the character looks as sucks. God, you're just like a knothole resident.
The town is also a horribly bad rip-off of Delfino Plaza. Everything is similar, especially the buildings.
Okay, I'm looking at this image right here, and I do not see any resemblance to Delfino Plaza with Soliana. I really don't. So what are you trying to say? That it rips off? Prove it.
Let's take a look at the picture again. Well, I do find some similarities in how the buildings are shaped, especially with the window patterns and the way the roofs look. I also find it similar when they have the canals in the city and how the trees look. So the game dude is technically right about this. And you know why? Because both Delfino and Soliana are based off of Italy.
When they're based off the same country...
Based off or ripped off? So video games can take other people's ideas, but Chief Shadow can't?
Of course there are going to be similarities. So, Chief, you are right about Soliana not being a ripoff of Delfino Plaza. But the game dude, to a certain extent, is right too in noting these similarities.
Oh, and look, even the portals preview the levels.
That gimmick has been used in several other games before Mario Sunshine. Ugh. Spyro and Crash Bandicoot has done the exact same thing, and they were before Mario Sunshine came out for the GameCube.
Even worse, it annoyingly serves as a constant interruption between the levels, which aren't as bad as this, but that's not saying much.
Okay, I absolutely have no idea what you're trying to say right there.
Anyway, couldn't I at least play the damn levels consecutively, the way all levels should be played?
Well, it makes the game a little bit shorter. And besides, all games allows you to free roam around the city.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you just said. All games allow free roaming around the city?
The only exception is having to return to the Mushroom Kingdom, because it's magic.
This just proves to me that you are a fucking Mario fanboy. You're saying that all the games must be played consecutively, except for Mario 64, which allows you to return to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Peach's castle wasn't that magical of a hub anyway.
Unfucking believable.
This guy is unfucking believable.
But this is a hideous pile of fucking shit, and having to return to it is
I saw that. You killed Sonic.
the biggest waste of time.
Okay, you need to explain a little bit more on why Soliana sucks. Okay, all I'm getting is you just hating on it. You need them to go more in depth. Elaborate, motherfucker.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that one. He should definitely elaborate. But you're sounding like you're stressing out over this. Calm down a little, will ya?
Towns and cities need to dazzle with that Sonic atmosphere. The directions are stupefyingly, moronically idiotic.
How does that make any possible sense?
It makes perfect sense. It's stupid.
Subject, predicate, adverb, adverb, adjective.
Sonic, can you hear me?
Unfortunately,
Knuckles wants to see you.
of my blue ass.
Oh, that's just a great image to get in my head. Ugh. You're trying to be funny, but you're not. You're trying to rip off the angry video game nerd, and you succeeded, but in a very bad way.
Wouldn't it be easier to say, you're ripping off the angry video game nerd, but you failed at it? Succeeding badly is the same as failing.
Not true. Barely making it out alive and dying are different things, aren't they? Getting a D- on a school exam is different than getting an F, isn't it? Getting an E ranking in a mission in a Sonic game is different than getting game over, isn't it? I can give more examples if you want.
Head to the town's warehouse.
Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know where the town's warehouse is? The town is too big, everything looks exactly the same, and the map is useless because the only thing it pinpoints is your location.
Not exactly. If you look closely at those yellow dots, those represent the people that you can talk to and maybe do town missions. So no, the map is not entirely useless. It wouldn't hurt to explore around the city, now would it?
Yes, there are yellow dots on the map. But that's not what the game dude is asking.
Chief Shadow's just pointing out that the map isn't completely useless. Besides, when did the game dude ask a question about this?
Why even bother bringing up the yellow dots in the first place? If you really want to refute him, then answer with something relevant to finding where you need to go on the map, not the people you can talk to.
He was just saying that the map isn't completely 100% useless. I apologize for repeating myself.
So let's face it, you're always gonna be lost, and believe me, I'd rather be lost at the worst place of Antarctica.
Okay, what's with the penguins? Okay, we get it. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to skip this part because of the fact that it's just another pointless moment.
Oh, goody! We get to start another tally!
I honestly wouldn't care if they were as fitting as that one was.
Now, the humans are monstrosities, don't belong in the Sonic universe, and need to be massacred immediately.
God, why is it that people don't complain about the humans in Sonic Adventure 2, and Shadow the Hedgehog, and yet they complain about the humans appearing in Sonic 06? This makes no sense whatsoever.
Why don't people complain about the townspeople in the Sonic Adventure games or Shadow the Hedgehog? Simple. You weren't forced to interact with them. Oh yes, you could talk to them, but for the most part, that was all you did with them. They were part of the scenery and could easily be overlooked. That's why nobody complained about them then.
But in Sonic 06, now you have to talk to them to get missions in order to progress through the game. And if you felt that Sega did a crappy job with them in the game, then you're not going to have fun interacting with them at all.
They're absolutely retarded.
Maybe they didn't have the budget to try to hire other voice actors to do the townspeople. And besides, it wouldn't kill you to fucking read the subtitles.
Yeah, but reading the subtitles won't stop the humans from making those ridiculous noises.
Mute button for the win.
And clones are everywhere, silently expressing how shitty this game is.
This one is just plain fucking stupid.
Couldn't have said it better myself, George Carlin. There could be more than just that. They could explain on how shitty this review is.
Everyone knows you can't have a Sonic game without an accordion player.
Okay, you said in an earlier point that the humans need to be massacred immediately, and yet you're just going out and say that every Sonic game needs an accordion player?
Why are you taking everything he's saying so literally? It's clear he's just trying to make a joke. Whether you think it's funny or not is a matter of opinion, but it's so obvious that it was not supposed to be taken seriously. Did you even read his video description, or did you just ignore it?
I think he ignored the video description, but he had good intentions, because like I said before, people actually think this way.
Now, the worst of them all is Elise. This half-white, half-orange slut shares a romantic relationship with Sonic.
How is she a frickin' slut? Go in depth on why Elise is a frickin' slut. I do not see a slut in Elise. All she is just a damsel in distress. How can she be a slut?
Just
Chaos Black!
sorry.
Now that one was unnecessary.
I can't watch this. I'm afraid this nightmare is going to lead to animated hentai bestiality or something.
Sorry, I'm going for two!
Chaos Black!
I gotta ask you this. Why? Why are you using a nostalgia critic joke twice in a row? Was it really that necessary?
I know you're trying to be funny and all, but there are other jokes you can make besides ones from the Nostalgia Critic.
Okay, I'm going to sum this up really quickly. This game does not promote bestiality because bestiality means sexual intercourse between a human and an animal. In other words, a human and an animal having sex. We do not see that anywhere in the game, because if it happened in the game would have been rated adults only, not everyone 10 and up. Get that through everyone's fucking skulls, including you, Spax3.
My goodness, those are the things that upset.
This might take a while, but bear with me. First off, the relationship between Elise and Sonic can be considered as friendship, except for the kiss. Second, Sonic is an animal with anthropomorphic or human-like characteristics, so it's more like furryism rather than bestiality. And if you don't buy any of that, I'll have to use my strangest argument yet. The fact that Sonic has human characteristics means that he can consent, which means it's okay. Also, wasn't it ever hinted before that Knuckles and Rouge had some type of relationship? Why isn't anyone complaining about that? Seriously, I think you're just throwing it all out of perspective.
Like the nerd always said, what were they thinking? I hope Amy beats the shit out of this fucking bitch.
I beg to differ. She only appears in one frickin' game. That's it. That's all Sega was targeting. One game for Elise to appear.
This guy is unfucking believable.
And Spoonie did make other videos besides the Let's Play of the Ripper. This one clip is getting annoying really fast.
Needs to go back to Final Fantasy where she came from.
If you have time to worry, then run.
The missions aren't retarded, they're vegetables.
How does that make any possible sense? Oh, they're not retarded, they're vegetables. I do not see any logical sense in that.
A vegetable is a person who has suffered some type of brain disorder, and are 100% dependent on other people for survival. Like they can't move or eat by themselves.
In this one, all you have to do is keep talking to the first person you see, and that's it. Nothing else.
Okay, that's maybe a point there. I mean, then again, town missions can be a little bit repetitive. I mean, take a look at Spider-Man 2.
He didn't say repetitive, he said vegetables. At least Spider-Man 2's missions made sense, right?
That was incredible!
Yeah, an incredible piece of shit!
That's pretty much what was running through my head, too.
Now, why is there a store in a Sonic game, and why does it sell only one of one item that only benefits me?
You're questioning logic in a video game again. That's like asking why in Spider-Man 2 they have Spidey shops that sell certain things that only Spider-Man would ever buy.
Okay, the reason why there's a store in the game is to buy upgrades and make use of the rings in the town. Also, other items can be available in the store once you get through a certain point of the game.
It's not like anyone else is gonna buy the light chip. What is Tails doing?
I don't know, maybe just another pointless moment.
It wasn't really pointless. It was just showing how weird the AI in this game is.
Look, even the soccer ball sinks without a splash. What a fucking circus. Are everywhere, and you can actually beat a few levels from the classics before the end. Look at the random instructions that should only exist in the manual. They're simplified to the point where they don't make any sense.
They make sense to me.
Okay, seriously. You only played the final part of the level. If you were trying to prove that you could beat the level faster than the loading screens, then you should have played the entire level and shown that.
I can only think of 2 levels that you can beat in 30 seconds, which is the load time that you'll say it takes. And those are both from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Emerald Hills Act 1 and Aquatic Ruin Act 1. And that's if you go really fast.
The graphics are realistically ugly when they should be stunningly cartoonish.
Okay, this game was released for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Of course the graphics are going to be realistic, and I don't find the graphics too bad. If you want cartoon graphics, play on the Wii.
I know the Wii has a lot of cartoony-looking games, but there are realistic-looking games for it, too. The Conduit, the Cabela Hunting series, I saw a Call of Duty game for it, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, the latest Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game. Not to mention, there are cartoony-looking games on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. The Sega All-Stars games, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, the newer Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro games, Viva Pinata. The point I'm trying to make is, don't expect a specific system to have only a specific style of games. Again, do your research before you make such a statement.
The level design is bad. Almost nothing is reminiscent of the classics.
I actually find the level design to be rather good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the climax of our video, which I spoiled and said I'd get to later, which is right now.
I may have not played it, but it looks good.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What did he just say?
I may have not played it, but it looks good.
There's an annotation that he added which states, and I quote, "I may not have played this, but I do know a lot about it." Do you even know what you just done, Chief Shadow? You just ruined the entire point of making your video!
Viewers take note that SuperSonic407 just said that this entire video is pointless just because he has not played the game. I'll get more to that later.
Well, no wonder you kept getting on his ass for no reason when he's talking about gameplay issues. You haven't been able to properly refute him because you have no clue what he's talking about. You can only judge a game so far without playing it. And yet you're trying to talk back to him about everything in that game.
Let's live in your little world where people cannot judge video games until they play it. Then what's the point of video game reviewers? They play bad games so that we don't have to, right? Tell me, have you ever not played a video game just because of bad reviews? Or maybe because of the box art. Imagine, you're walking through Target and you see this. Think it's stupid? Then you just judged the game before you played it. You said that it's impossible to refute a person on gameplay when you haven't played the game. But I did it. Remember the part about the controls of the truck being stiff and slippery? Those are complete opposites. How can they be both? I barely played the game, but I don't need to in order to combat all of your arguments. Funny story. I only played the first level of Sonic 06 at my dad's friend's house, and I would like to try more, but my brother won't let me. He's in possession of the Xbox, by the way. And do you know why? Because he thinks that game sucks. He hasn't played it, and he thinks it sucks. While we're talking about critics, let's discuss the Angry Video Game Nerd. He said that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the Nintendo Entertainment System was bad. And when a magazine put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in their top 100 NES games of all time, people got really angry. What percent of the people that got angry actually played the game? Besides, when we're buying video games, we have to use judgment before we play the video games to make sure that we're getting our money's worth. By that, I mean the arguments of each group. If some of my arguments do not make sense, like the truck in the Shadow level was actually necessary, then the game dude has just been misleading us. You are right about how you really can't judge some games, with a few exceptions, until you really play them. But you guys said that there is no point in making this entire video if he hasn't played the game. He has as much of a right to speak as any of us. Finally, I saw some videos of the glitches in Sonic 06, and most of them looked like they occurred due to human error, not by the game's hand.
You're just using this commentary as an excuse to insult Mario fanboy, but with this new little tidbit, you don't even realize you cemented yourself as a fanboy. Somebody makes a video review about a Sonic game, nerd style, and what do? You get all defensive. It's Michael Dragon 800 all over again!
The main reason why I made my Sonic fanboys rant, and the main reason why Michael Dragon 800 made his Sonic the Hedgehog video, was because we both believed that the fans were giving these new Sonic games an unfair chance. I have some stories about these Sonic fans in my Sonic fanboys rant, so I'm not going to repeat them all, but I'll just say that saying one video game is better than another video game because it is not a valid argument. That's why I made that video in the first place. It was to see if one person with a lot of good arguments can overcome hundreds of other people that have lousy arguments.
If you want to talk about him being an angry video game nerd ripoff like how you originally said you were going to do, then focus on that alone.
No. Remember when you said that because he has not played the game, even though he has done a lot of research, that he has no right whatsoever to make this video? If that's not what you meant, you shouldn't have worded it that way.
You at least know what you're talking about there.
And you're forcing me to repeat myself. Just because it's not the same as the classics does not mean that the game sucks.
There's a lot of pop-up, tree, no tree, tree, no tree.
That's common in video games.
It is, but there's normally fog. It's not like it just appears and disappears.
Invisible walls are everywhere.
I don't find that to be a big deal because invisible walls are common in video games. Play the God of War game.
What I find really interesting is how the game dude is ranting about how he cannot kill himself or how he cannot sequence break.
There's no rumble. Look how bad the camera is.
Okay, are you even trying to rotate the camera?
Or maybe he's just trying to show how weird and unreliable the camera can be at times, forced or not. Even the angry video game nerd has to play bad on purpose for a part of his review, just so that he can show what he's trying to explain.
So if the angry video game nerd did it, it's instantly okay to do.
But if you had actually played the game, you might have known that.
You're complaining about a glitch. That wasn't the game dude's fault. I came across glitches and camera issues like that a lot when I played as Tails too.
Aren't you two contradicting each other? Roushutsu, you said that he's copying the angry video game nerd by pretending to play bad to show a bad part of the game. And SuperSonic407, you just said that it's a glitch and not the game dude's fault.
A chimpanzee would handle the camera better.
And again, your Photoshop techniques are terrible. Your Photoshop pictures are terrible.
At least the music matches the sceneries.
Whoa, did you guys see that?
At least the music...
Where did that thing come from? What is it doing there? And why did it leave so quickly?
Oh, thank you. At least that's one decent thing about the game. The music's incredible. But let me guess, you're gonna say something like the angry video game nerd that it's worse than something.
But that's exactly why they're worse than Alvin and the Chipmunks singing with allergies and alarm clocks.
Hey, Realm Wars, I hope you have enough room for me in the Psychic Club.
What a small world this is.
Congratulations! You guessed what he was going to say! Would you like a cookie? In all seriousness, anyone could have predicted that by now, not just you. That was nothing special.
Was that an insult I just heard?
Oh my god, that is the worst picture I have seen in this entire review. Okay, let's take a look. The Alvin and the Chipmunks picture you can find off of Google anywhere. The alarm clock says you can find on Google as well. You put no effort into this. I mean, they're still smiling when they are having allergies. You should have made them look more sickly looking. So just for this, I will proudly give this to you.
And that's the end of part 2 of Chief Shadow's commentary. And yes, there is still more to come, so stay tuned.
I'm not repeating myself on what I said about these to-be-continued pictures at the end of your video.
And now we're gonna head into part 3 of his commentary with part 5 of ours.
Yes, if you want to know what that is called the whammy from Game Show Press Your Luck. If you don't know how that game show works, look it up on Wikipedia.
The collision detection sucks.
Hey, play Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis. That game has worse collision detection.
You're talking about Sonic 1 on the Genesis, right? Because the hit detection was fine in that game.
He mentioned at the beginning of the video that he believes that Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on the Game Boy is worse than Sonic 06. He said Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis, not Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Genesis.
You won't find the glitches. The glitches will find you. Half the game is nothing but button tapping and cinematics glued together. Why would you run through these loops when you don't have to and there's nothing to collect?
Why is that even a big deal? It's not part of the review.
Sonic doesn't leave footprints in the sand anymore.
Please go back to the last point of the commentary because I am not repeating myself.
Okay, dude, you really need to calm down before you have a meltdown.
Slides like he's figure skating.
Okay, that is not figure skating at all. If you want figure skating, go to Google and check it out. Here's an example. This is figure skating. What Sonic is doing is apparently he's sliding like a baseball player. That's what you should have said.
How Sonic looks when he's sliding is a matter of opinion. Someone can say it looks like he slipped on a banana peel. Someone can say he's on a slip and slide. Someone can even say he's having an ass race, etc. Or maybe this is just another joke he's trying to make, and you're not taking him too seriously.
That's another huge grammar mistake. You see, your use of negatives made you say the exact opposite of what you meant.
And never runs as fast as he used to. He looks like he runs even slower because of the overly stretched dimensions of the levels.
Hey retard, there's a colored gem in the store available that allows you to double your speed. Try using it.
Love the immaturity here. You're not proving that you're better than him when you're stooping to his level with the childish insults. Also, could you lose the attitude? You're coming off as an asshole.
Remember that one part where you asked him if he wanted a cookie? That sounded like you were coming off as an asshole as well.
Instead of the robots resembling animals like they should, they resemble unwanted crap deleted from Metroid Prime.
Why are you comparing Sonic 06 to Metroid Prime? And besides, I like the robots in this game.
Some of the rings are impossible to get. They wouldn't be so difficult if the camera didn't change angles.
You don't have to get all the rings. You just need to collect enough to survive through the level.
He's just stating that the camera is making it hard to get rings, which it does at times. Kinda hard to get even one ring in order to survive if the camera keeps interfering. Plus, maybe he wants to get all the rings to get a high score. What's the problem with that?
There's time bonus for that.
Or if the controls weren't so bad. Yes! No! Fuck Nozzle!
Okay, first of all, I am forced to play this.
Because you said that you had to play the video clip before you actually did it, you kind of ruined the placement value of putting it in there.
Secondly, why couldn't you just land on the platform and then jump and try to get that ring again after you've landed the platform? Keep trying until you got it. Why couldn't you do that?
Yeah, didn't you know Tails was going to eventually drop like a pancake?
This guy is unfucking believable.
Now look at this! Sonic outruns this orca, jumps on flying pieces of wood, jumps on the orca's fin, and now logically, you'd assume that Jackie Chan's gonna jump to that nearby island.
That's just impossible! I mean, think about it!
You could clearly see that Sonic is facing in that direction, and the island is over here. So, if Sonic was to jump off the orca, he would land over there into the water, where he'll drown. So how will he land on the island when he's facing in the wrong direction? Explain!
It can't! It just can't!
You think those two would count as one. Oh well. What the hell was that? That was more annoying than anything Chief Shadow did put together. That's gonna be burned in the back of my retinas for a long time.
Another nostalgia critic joke. The way you're using these skits are not funny or clever in the least. I would have thought by now you'd have at least found a good one considering how many times you've used them.
The first two were placed pretty well.
But no, instead, he clings onto the fin like a frightened cat, and now Tails has to save him. It's the lamest excuse to force you to play as Tails, who should have been following my ass to begin with.
Hey, the characters appeared out of nowhere in Shadow the Hedgehog, and nobody's complaining about that.
The other Sonic characters in Shadow the Hedgehog were support characters. Emphasis on support. The main player did not play as them, so no one complained about playing as them. It's not rocket science here.
Quick fact, Shadow the Hedgehog was the first Sonic game in a long time where you only played as one character.
And what was he doing, randomly standing by the edge of the dock?
He's assisting Sonic in rescuing Elise. Did you even watch the cutscene?
To save Sonic, you hit the switch. But why would you want to spoil the fun? Okay, why is there even a gate here? Am I in a fucking aquarium? And why was it left open to begin with? Now look at that! It doesn't even fully close. Why doesn't the stupid orca just swim underneath or go around? Look at it. How the fuck could it block the way?
Okay, to quote Big Al 2K6, who fucking cares?
Nothing makes any logical sense.
Okay, you don't need logic in video games.
Where is the logic in that? I need logic in my video games.
How does Sonic know the orca is trying to escape? Why did the orca try to escape the second Sonic jumped on its spin?
It's all part of the gameplay in the level.
Why were the other orcas trying to escape? And why didn't Sonic try to set them free instead of keeping them imprisoned?
Ladies and gentlemen, we just hit ourselves another pointless moment.
Finally, another well-placed one. Seriously, logic in video games?
I mean, one asshole!
Tails, you saved me.
No, he didn't! You saved yourself by jumping away and defeated the entire Tails. Now, could the infinite train, loaded with bullshit, be any longer?
Well, let me ask you this.
You mean the bullshit in your review? Oh yes, it can.
Well, they were sitting around making this shit up.
Yes. How the hell did he jump from here all the way to here? Now there's no reason why he couldn't jump to that nearby thing.
Yes, there is. Go back to an earlier point of the commentary because I am not repeating myself.
If you don't hit the switch, you have to watch this. That was almost 10 seconds of nothing. Why doesn't Sonic jump away like he did before partially the gate and beneath the water? Now the camera shakes, and this is a cutscene.
Okay, first of all, that would mean that you failed the mission. And secondly, ladies and gentlemen, we just hit ourselves another pointless moment.
You really called that a cutscene? Also, that Nostalgia Critic joke wasn't very well placed.
Darn! We're not gonna make it! Let's speed up!
Oh, now he runs faster? If he ran faster at the very beginning, he would have caught up by now. One up? What's wrong with this?
Are you seriously complaining about the icon that represents the 1-up? Who frickin' cares? It means that you gain an extra life. It doesn't matter if it says 1-up or has the Sonic's head.
This one is just plain fucking stupid.
And I die 2 seconds later?
You're doing it wrong.
Why are they replaced by empty containers? What a crap full of fuck platypus.
Wow, you completely raped angry video game nerds. What a shitload of fuck. And just proves that you are a total fucking ripoff.
There's a little saying that goes, pot calling the kettle black. You're calling Game Dude an angry video game nerd ripoff, saying he's completely unoriginal, when you have abused jokes from the Nostalgia Critic, the Spoony One, and Realm Wars to make your points.
And some people argue that the Nostalgia Critic is a ripoff of the angry video game nerd. Looks like we have come full circle.
What makes you any better?
Yeah, I've been meaning to say this for a while now. I have no problem with people using jokes from other videos. I've done it myself. Heck, we just made a joke using the forced laughter scene from Final Fantasy X.
I have an immense urge in my body to use that. Was it funny? Because I didn't find it funny clip that you guys said. But I'm not going to because I already did.
But I don't use these jokes every chance I get because it eventually makes the joke stale. Imagine if we had used that Final Fantasy X scene over and over and over again.
Oh god, no.
It would get annoying.
Get? As in future?
Even the Nostalgia Critic knows when to put gags to rest. Please, Chief Shadow, find some other jokes next time.
Okay, so I beat the level, but why does Sonic stop and pose in the middle of the chase?
Bitch.
That's the results! That is to show how well you did.
No, duh! Just chill out!
Remember the feather scene from Forrest Gump? Hard not to, isn't it?
God, are you seriously comparing this game to Forrest Gump? Unbelievable.
No, he was making a joke. We've said this time and time again. You're taking his stuff way too seriously. Where's your sense of humor? Was that supposed to be funny? Because I didn't find anything funny in that.
I gave up trying not to use that.
Riding the snowboard looks fun, but trust me, it sucks more than a vacuum. The controls are horrible.
Yeah, the controls aren't the only thing that's horrible.
Fuck! It's like riding a unicycle wearing a sumo suit moving a horse on a baby stroller through a bunch of winding hills.
I can't really tell if that was well placed or not.
No, don't go up! Oh, come on! It didn't even hit me!
Well, I'm sorry, but I just haven't the time.
Well, now I'm fucked. What? You could go right through it? What? I died?
Of course you died. You didn't have any rings to begin with.
Now, before, the lamest excuse forced you to play as Tails, but now, for absolutely no reason at all, you're simply just forced to play as him.
Again, nobody complained when that happened in Shadow the Hedgehog, where the supporting character appears out of nowhere and offers you a mission to complete.
Please refer to what Ryan said about supporting characters in Shadow the Hedgehog.
And that's actually worse because, well, they didn't even try! Fuck!
Roushutsu and SuperSonic407, this was the worst part of your commentary. You said to do your research before you make such a silly mistake, and yet you two just did one right now. You two are tallying the whammy as WTF. What's really interesting about this is that he even said that it was a whammy.
Also, if Tails was already about halfway through the level, then why didn't he just finish it by himself without waiting for Sonic?
God, are you seriously nitpicking about the way the level works? This is something I forgot to mention. This guy nitpicks. Constantly. This is unbelievable.
Didn't you mention him nitpicking earlier? I thought you did.
Why not just look back at your video and see? I've done that multiple times already.
But even if you didn't, we know. We can see it for ourselves. It's kinda late to be bringing up the obvious.
And not only is he nitpicking, but you're nitpicking on his nitpicking.
And you two are nitpicking on his nitpicking on his nitpicking, and I am nitpicking on your two's nitpicking on his nitpicking on his nitpicking. Not to mention, I am nitpicking on his nitpicking and nitpicking on his nitpicking on his nitpicking. I agree that nitpicking shouldn't occur so much in a video game review, and that the Game Dude will never make a job as a critic. However, commentaries are all about nitpicking.
Are they trying to save the world, or are they baton racing with invisible batons? Well, I couldn't tell you exactly what they're doing. Why? Because the story is a completely illogical fucking encyclopedia.
Okay, the story deals with time travel and it adds a twist into what you got from the opening cutscene.
If we don't return in time, Elise will die on board Eggman's battleship. That means you travel back even further in time. I mean, if you can travel through time, then why should you worry about...
But you, the Game Dude, would know that Silver and Sonic work together to get Sonic back even further in time.
it.
It would make the story shorter, and it will be a waste of your money.
I mean, why should you run about it? Oh, you're gonna love this one. Shadow jumps into this portal. Oh, you son of a bitch. And out comes Rouge back. We? What do you mean, we?
And Shadow.
Shadow jumped into the portal. I don't know where the fuck you came from.
Probably from the other side of the base.
Now, this is where the game really takes it up the ass. Dying is easier than the kindergarten math test. Believe me.
Okay, I will admit that looks like the most challenging and probably the most frustrating part of the entire game. But all you need to do is just keep collecting rings and you'll win. Trust me, those rings will come in handy.
Oh yeah, go ahead and collect all the rings you can. Hopefully without getting hit by flying cars and debris, being thrown by that flaming tornado, and avoiding all the obstacles on the road ahead of you. Do all that, and yeah, don't worry, you'll be fine.
How can we trust your word if you admitted to not playing the game? You don't know how easy or hard this level is, let alone if getting rings will help you at all.
It's called common sense, Roushutsu. Getting rings will keep you alive in a Sonic game.
Not every Sonic game follows the same formula, you know.
Most of them are close enough anyway.
You don't want to fuck around in this death playground. Everything wants you dead. The almost unavoidable obstacles on the road and falling debris that comes out of nowhere and hits you in a fraction of a second, the camera by changing angles, the bad frame rate by making you run faster than the camera and crash into objects.
Alright, I am forced to repeat myself again. This game was rushed because Sega was under pressure. Alright, and also just keep collecting rings. If you get hit and you lose all your rings, just collect more. It's not that hard.
And ironically, even the rings, because when you magically glide through them, the straightforward momentum hurls you into even more objects.
Don't light dash then.
Also, if you stay too close to the edges you die, if you jump too early you die, if you jump too late you die, and because you can only jump straight if you jump at the wrong angle you die, you will die again and again and again and again and again. I can't take it anymore!
I get the feeling that I remember this somewhere. Oh yeah, from Angry Video Game Nerd Silver Surfer review.
I mean, this game just pukes snot up my ass. I mean, it's like you touch the top of the building, you die. You touch the ceiling, you die. You touch the floor, you die. Too far to the right, you die. Too far to the left, you die. You die, you die, you die, 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 die. Oh, God, I can't fucking stand it.
And right here was where Part 3 had ended. There was one final part to the commentary, but unfortunately we weren't able to get the final part before he deleted it off his channel. The final part was about 2 minutes long, and basically all it was the Game Dude saying his final bit, and Chief Shadow ended his commentary by explaining the difference between inspiration and ripping off.
Basically, he said that inspiration is where you enjoy something so much that you try it for yourself, but put your own spin to it. While ripping off is copying someone's words, style, jokes, etc. Not for nothing, he is right about this. But he fell victim to his own words.
So with that said, here are our final thoughts. I'll start off. Well, for your first time doing a commentary, well, it wasn't very good. I mean, it was off to a good start at first, but then it just went downhill afterwards. How so? Well, first off, if you want to get your points across, you need to base your points on your own opinion and not the opinions of others. For instance, you use the facts from what reviews state towards other games such as Sonic 1 for the Game Boy Advance and Sonic Labyrinth, just so that you can defend the fact that Sonic 06 is a horrible game.
You mean attack the idea, right?
Not to mention, when you stated that you never played Sonic 06, that just showed us that you don't know what you're talking about. You say you've never played the game, but you have a lot of knowledge about it. That doesn't work. If you want to have a true opinion about the game, you need to experience the game yourself and not use the opinions of others.
The opinions of others? By that you mean who else? Who else thought that Sonic 06 was great? I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad or anything, but he never really said that someone told him Sonic 06 was bad. He's judging the game himself.
Exactly. Even though I don't own either an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, I still found a way to play the game back when it came out, and it was off of one of my friend's systems. You can do that, or rent the game if you have either system. But enough of that. So now let's talk about the jokes. Yeah, we all know you used a lot of Nostalgia Critic jokes, but you also used jokes from the Spoony One, George Carlin, Alice in Wonderland, Realm Wars, there was that whammy thing. The variety is nice and all, but even with that, you relied on these clips way too much. Tone it down some. This way it doesn't feel like half of your commentary is a clip show.
So next time, try to avoid overusing jokes of any kind. Otherwise, people won't take your commentary seriously and find it to be very annoying. Finally, the way you expressed your points from Part 2 and so on, it came as if you were being an immature kid and not a person doing a commentary. You yelled a lot, and you stooped to his level by calling him inappropriate names. Insulting someone while doing a commentary won't make you look any better. The only way people will respect you is if you cut the insults and cut the immaturity. Then viewers will think differently about you.
And lastly, you kept going on about how the Game Dude is an angry video game nerd ripoff. And yet you barely even touched why throughout your entire commentary. Ryan said it earlier, but when you actually show why you feel he's a ripoff, you're on the mark.
Wouldn't that kind of be overusing that idea, though? Just like using the Nostalgia Critic jokes? Oh, he's a ripoff here, he's a ripoff there, he's a ripoff there, everywhere. People would get bored of that, wouldn't they?
If you had done this commentary doing that, like how you said you were going to do back in Part 1, instead of trying to refute him on every little thing that he said, then this wouldn't be too bad of a commentary. I personally would have liked to have seen that, considering that the Game Dude is notorious for the whole AVGN ripoff claims.
Do you really think that the Game Dude did not change the Angry Video Game Nerd's idea enough? For example, he's reviewing modern games instead of old ones. Or maybe that he uses more pictures and more clips from other video games and other things.
We can tell you don't like the Game Dude, but it really felt like you were making this commentary for the sole purpose of slamming him, not giving him actual criticism.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a long commentary. But it was still fun nonetheless. So, Roushutsu, thank you so much for having me be your co-host for this commentary. I look forward to being your co-host for other commentaries in the near future.
Oh, you know it! It may be a while, but we'll definitely be teaming up again.
That sounds more like something you would say over Skype than actually putting into your video.
So, this is Roushutsu.
And SuperSonic407.
And we'll leave you all with this.
Sonic 06. What a disaster of a game. It puts Sega.
I'm gonna stop right there, because I'm not willing to show the rest of that on my channel. It's even worse than the forced laughter from Final Fantasy. You guys are really good at getting stuff in my head I wish I could take out. If you, the viewer, wishes to see that clip from the commentary, you can go to Roushutsu's channel and check it out. I counted the parts of the video where he said Sega because Roushutsu and SuperSonic407 put it in there. And now I'm going to end this with some final notes to each person, starting with the Game Dude. This was your first review, right? The only two problems I had with it was that you kept mentioning classic Sonic, and that you kept questioning video game logic. I didn't count the first comparison to the classics because you needed an intro to hook the viewer onto your video. However, there was one part where you were ranting about it so long that I counted it as 2, so it balances out. If Chief Shadow says something that I thought and I didn't want to emphasize it, I just left it alone. Oh, and stop releasing remakes of your episodes. Chief Shadow1750. I don't care if you use one nostalgia critic joke or a million of them. If they're not fitting, they shouldn't be there. Then just cut out the random insults, and even though you haven't played the game, you will still have a pretty good commentary. Roushutsu and SuperSonic407. You two disappointed me. You spent the whole time complaining about his overuse of jokes and the fact that he hasn't played the game. Chief Shadow might have not played the game, but at least he had common sense. Whenever he actually had something to say, you rarely commentated on it, and if you did, most of the time you didn't really do it that well. It's like you didn't watch your video before you sent it to YouTube. Oh, you might have mentioned nitpicking, but I'm not going to look back to confirm it. I might have said the exact opposite of what I meant. Maybe I should go check to make sure. Nah, let's upload it. Also, you guys are saying that Chief Shadow1750 is insulting him a lot, even though you guys sound like you could come off as jerks.
You want criticism? Well, you'll get plenty.
Congratulations! You guessed what he was going to say! Would you like a cookie?
I find it funny how you guys didn't care the first time he used the Ripper clip or the whammy, and not at all with Alice in Wonderland and George Carlin, but as soon as he does a Realm Wars facepalm or mentions the Nostalgia Critic, you two get all over it. And finally, those two scenes. I'm not going to repeat myself on them. If you, the viewer, feel as though my arguments were flawed in some way, feel free to do a 4th degree commentary on me. And if you're the Game Dude, Chief Shadow1750, Roushutsu, or SuperSonic407, and feel offended by my commentary, then you can make one as well. I'm not going to stop you. Make sure to post it as a video response to me. However, if someone has already done a 4th degree commentary on me, then do a 5th degree commentary on him, and maybe you can do what I did and try and commentate on as many people as you can. Then maybe we can do 6th degree, 7th degree, 8th degree, and possibly beyond. This is ShadowStar1224. Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, a good night, whenever you're watching this video.